The state only witness that was at the shooting was Eric Watson. And he will testify today that he was looking at a traffic light. And he was in a crowded intersection of Sunset and Elm. Not a single witness was testified they saw Jared Doe shoot Don Johnson.
Too many youth growing up in the North Lawndale neighborhood of Chicago are familiar with our criminal justice system, either because they or someone that they know have been through it. But what if they got a chance to see the courtroom from a different perspective? That's the idea behind the 2 recent youth mock trials held at Lawndale Community Church and Mayor Brown Law Offices, sponsored by the Lawndale Christian Legal Center. Let's welcome Cliff Nellis, lead attorney and founder of the center. We also welcome 2 students who were involved in the trials. Desiree Johnson is 19 years old and a student at Year Up Chicago. And Shaquille Wilson is also 19 and a student at Malcolm X College. What is the mission of Lawndale Christian Legal Center?
Sure. The Lawndale Christian Legal Center's mission is to help our youth become good citizens and leaders of our community. We do that by integrating legal and social services. We have attorneys who represent our young people in court, and then we have social services. We have a mentoring program, case management, a jobs program, and an after-school program. And we provide the integrated legal and social services from the point of their arrest all the way through to the conclusion of their trial and through the completion of any sentencing, a period of probation, supervision, or parole. So it is walking alongside youth through their experience in the criminal justice system to help them then get through it, never to return to it, and become a good citizen and leader of our community.
Great. And why a mock trial in a church and a law office?
Well, we started our mock trial program out of our jobs program. We received some funding to do part job training and part legal immersion. Of course, I'm a lawyer, and we have partners that are with a lot of law firms and other lawyers, so the mock trial was an easy thing for us to do. It's just passing on our trade, essentially, to the young people. I always like to tell the kids that the practice of law is fun, and I believe that. And so we wanted to pass on what it's like to be a trial attorney. And so that was partly training them in just simple job experience, but then also immersing them in civil rights, constitutional rights, and then, of course, trial practice and courtroom drama.
Shaquille and Desiree, please tell us, what was the case about?
This guy named Jared Doe, he got into it with his classmate Donald Johnson, and Donald wound up getting shot, and he was in a coma. And so Jared was convicted of this crime. And so I was on the defense as well as Shaquille, and we was trying to get Jared off and let everybody know that pretty much, you know, he didn't do it and show the evidence. It was really a great experience. It was cool stepping into our lawyer's shoes and doing something different. The third strike against the state's case comes from their key witness, Eric Watson, who identified Jared as the shooter. Eric was waiting on the traffic light to change on the corner of Sunset and Elm. He claims he saw a black male wearing all black walk in front of his car.
Please tell us what roles you guys played and what you learned from playing those roles.
Well, I was the open for the defense. Go PDs. So what I learned from the experience is I might want to be a lawyer one day, and I kind of want to help people because a lot of people don't got a lot of people out there who are willing to help. And I learned that law, it's tough, but it could be fun at the same time. And in order to do it, you got to have a passion for it.
And Desiree?
I learned that the practice of law is fun. I learned how to use my critical thinking skills most of all, because during the mock trial, we had to really think about every detail. I mean, especially me doing the closing, and I did the closing argument. You really had to put that last punch at the end of it to, you know, have the jury thinking like, I think that they won. So it took a lot of critical thinking skills, and I learned that I definitely am thinking about becoming a lawyer because I love helping people, especially a defense lawyer like Cliff, because he's an amazing leader.
Cliff, what were you hoping that the students would learn with this whole project?
Well, I was hoping that they'd learn that the practice of law is fun. And some days I think they saw that better than others. But more as important as that, I would say, is an understanding of their constitutional rights, an understanding of the system and how it works, the importance of, I think also to somewhat feel a little of that pressure that I think every trial attorney feels, knowing that you're your client's voice. And, most times defendants aren't testifying in court or speaking on their behalf. And so it's really up to the lawyer to present the case and ask the right questions and object at the right times and convince a jury that your client is not guilty. And so I wanted them to feel what that pressure was like. I also, of course, wanted them to develop critical thinking skills and communication skills. They did a wonderful job at both events. I think the one downtown at Mayor Brown really got them outside their comfort zones. And that's just a priceless experience, I think, for a young person to step up into a major law firm like that and be in front of attorneys who do this for a living, and come through as well as they did. It was remarkable.
Did this change your perspective of the criminal justice system?
Well, it kind of did for me. I still feel like the criminal justice system is unfair, biased. I feel like they more than the state's eyes, and I feel like it's corrupt. But as defense lawyers like Cliff, it's their job to make sure they stand up for it, to be our voice, and make sure we get heard too, and that us as citizens actually do get our rights.
Can you tell us about the job training aspect of the Legal Center?
The jobs program we've had running now for 3 years. Each year it begins with, there's a collaboration of organizations in North Lawndale. We collaborate with Sinai Community Institute, and the job training was actually hosted at their site this year. And they have curriculum. The partnering organizations ourselves, we basically put together curriculum on various aspects of how to conduct yourself in a workplace, ranging from showing up on time to how to dress to how to speak to your boss to how to make sure that you call in if you're going to be late, things of that nature, and how to succeed in the workplace. So they were actually through training for a week or two. It was actually more than a week, I think, but it was about 40 hours total. So that would be 2 weeks because it was a part-time job, before they were then placed in their jobs. And that's why after the job training, then they were placed at various locations, and Shaquille and Desiree were placed in the mock trial program at the Lawndale Christian Legal Center.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like it's really empowering to the people that are involved with that.
I actually begged to be in a mock trial because they placed me somewhere else, and then I had to get back over there with Cliff now.
That's great. Well, I'm glad you fought for that. That's great. And Cliff, we would also love to know how all of the work that you do is an extension of your faith.
Yeah, so, I was the founding staff member of the Lawndale Christian Legal Center. Of course, there was more than just me that started the organization. We have a board of directors. We're based and started out of Lawndale Community Church on the west side of Chicago. We couldn't have done it without the church. We couldn't have done it without our board of directors, of course. We have an advisory board as well. But my personal story is, and doing this work is 100% connected to my faith. I was an atheist ever since I left home from high school, and was an atheist for about 10 years before went to law school, college law school, and actually was clerking for a federal judge out in Denver, Colorado. And I rode my bicycle from Denver, Colorado to San Diego, California to Miami, Florida with a Bible, which is a long story that we don't have time for this interview. But short story is that my brother started talking to me about the faith, and so I decided to read the Bible for myself. And I had a change of heart. Romans 12:2 was my conversion verse. Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And from there, I was on a path to, I really thought I was going to be working for one of the major law firms in one of the major cities is what I was looking at doing. And then I temporarily left the law, went to seminary school. And while at seminary school, I came in contact with Lawndale Community Church. And I met all these doctors and nurses who are using their vocation as a ministry. And I thought, man, I loved the practice of law, but I felt called to ministry. And I thought ministry at the time was being in a church, wearing a robe and teaching the Bible, And I was glad to feel that the Lord had led me to a place where I could use my law degree because I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you so much for coming today and sharing with us the unique vision and work of Lawndale Christian Legal Center. It was a pleasure to have you all here today. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Shaquille. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Leah Smith for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.